even if they don't desire that particular portion of the negative ideological, set of things that people in the South believed during the Confederacy, there is lumped in with that racism because of the fact that it was a tool to push for slavery, right? So that
the North was racist.
Values. I understand.
So why do we fly the American flag?
What? It's like a joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's not like a joke. I really don't understand the position. The position of but they see it as being racist. They are linking this symbol to their feelings. We're not going to capitulate. You honestly are trying to advocate that people should capitulate to symbolism under legal expression because it makes them feel badsies.
And by capitulate, you mean?
Take it down.
So you're saying that I think that we should take down Confederate flags if they cause violence, and if
they're not causing violence.
And if they are, sure. I mean, if they are linked to people who are causing violence, right? Because they share the same values of the people who initially flew those flags. Then yeah, I think that's totally reasonable.
Yeah, but
I would really hope you would say the same thing about the Schnazi flag. This is
a totally insane claim. So if somebody's flying the Confederate flag and it's offensive enough, you keep on acting like, well, if the flag is causing violence, the flag doesn't cause violence. The flag is nothing. It's a piece of cloth. It has no ability to cause anybody violence. People would be causing violence on behalf of, they don't like that. They don't like that flag. So all you're doing is making an argument saying we should capitulate to mobs who don't like things and are willing to cause violence by taking down the thing.
That's not it. Look, I think that's a complete straw man of the argument. The argument is multi-pronged. It's not just, if people don't like thing, take thing down. That's not the argument.
It sure sounds like that's the argument.
That is
which part of it am I straw manning?
That is a consideration into whether or not we should allow something or not. Right?
Okay.
There can be multiple considerations. That's one of them.
Okay. Well, I guess we can move on to the second argument then, if you want to move past this one.
Sure.
So feminism has switched women from duty to materialism. Can you
explain what you mean by that first?
Yeah, I can't think of a single, when you talk about egalitarianism being, so let's start with this, I guess. Are rights real?
Real in what sense?
Do they materially exist anywhere, or are they concepts of the mind?
Yeah, rights are concepts of the mind.
Yeah, so they don't actually exist, right?
No, something that's a concept still exists.
Where?
Yeah, like feelings exist, thoughts exist.
Where?
They exist within the mind. You just said that.
Yeah, where's that?
In the mind?
Where is that, though?
In brains?
So the brain exists inside the mind?
The mind is constituted of the brain.
The brain is the mind, then?
That might be a semantic thing, but I'm fine with saying however you want to parse out those terms, that yes, concepts come from minds. Minds either are or come from brains.
Okay, so, is the mind the brain?
Look, that's a complex question I don't have the answer to.
I don't either, so I just want to make sure that I understand where concepts exist.
I mean, look, if you just want to say the brain just for simplicity, that's fine. I'm not sure, are you well-versed on philosophy of mind or something? Is that
I'm not trying to move you into philosophy of mind. I'm just trying to ask you about rights being a concept, because when I say that they're not real, you say they are real because concepts are real. Right. But I don't understand how concepts themselves are real.
Yeah, they're real as in they're, things that are from the mind.
Okay. So
thoughts you wouldn't say a thought is not a real thing. A thought is a real thing.
Well, when you say objective or subjective, what do you mean by objective or subjective?
I didn't use those words, but usually in philosophy, objective means mind independent,
yes,
and subjective means mind dependent.
Okay, right. So concepts, then, they're dependent on a mind?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so they don't exist absent a mind?
They don't exist absence of minds? No.
Okay, so if all human beings were gone, rights would not exist because the concepts would be gone, right?
Well, I didn't say human minds. There could be, some alien, the xenomorphs or whatever come down and they have their own concepts of rights. Then, yeah, I mean, that's still a mind. They have rights, etc.
Yeah, no, sure. If there was aliens, they okay.
Just to clarify, it's not just human minds. It is just, minds that can conceptualize of rights.
Whatever those minds are.
Sure. Yeah,
okay, got it. So when we're talking about rights, though, they don't exist in any sort of material reality.
That question hinges upon the, is the mind the brain or not?
You can't taste them, touch them, smell them, see them, that kind of thing.
Sure. No, of course not.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So rights, for all intents and purposes, are just things that we make up.
Sure. That doesn't make them any less real.
Well, I guess we're going to have to clear this up again then. Real how? Is a unicorn real?
Well, as a fictional concept, yeah.
As a concept, it's real.
As a fiction, just to be clear. There's a way that fiction is used in a technical sense. I'm not super familiar with it, but you can point to things that are fiction and things that aren't fiction. So it would be like, well, maybe Spider-Man is real in a sense, but he's real in a fictional way. He's still real, right? There's still a book. There's still movies about him. There's still actors that play him. In a sense, there is...
Well, he's real in your mind.
Spider-Man, right? Well, there are material things tied to Spider-Man, right? But there is a real concept of Spider-Man. He's just real in a fictional sense.
Got it. So then for you, rights actually do exist as more than... They're not... When you say concept, you actually believe concepts are real in some sense.
I think they're real in a mind-dependent way.
Mind-dependent.
When you say, so I think what you're doing here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm making sure we just don't equivocate.
Yeah, but it seems like what you are doing might be a little bit of that. But it might seem like you're saying something is only real if and only if it's material. Do you believe that or no?
I don't. No.
Okay.
I'm just making sure that we get the view clear.
Sure,
that
yeah. So there can be real things, even if we don't have a specific definition, there can be real things that aren't material.
Yeah, concepts.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, got it. So rights are a concept.
Yeah, they are a concept, but they are real. But in the sense that
concepts, in the sense that concepts are real.
Right, just like your feelings are real, just like your thoughts, your dreams are real.
Got it. And concepts are changeable, right? Just like rights.
The concepts themselves, yeah, the way that people think of things, yeah. Those things can change, sure.
Okay. So we've established that rights are just concepts. Concepts can be real. I'll just agree in that sense because, again, it doesn't really matter, I guess, in this particular confine. So when I say duty you would have to exist, or you'd have to admit is also real then as a concept.
What do you mean by duty?
Obligations that you have absent entitlements. And I would classify rights as being entitlements you have absent obligations.
So you said a duty is an obligation absent an entitlement?
Yeah.
And then you said that, what was the second?
That for a right, it would be an entitlement absent a duty.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't actually see any duties women have in modernity. None. Like no actual duties.
Duties to what?
Anything.
You don't, like in a moral sense or?
No, in any sense. So I see a lot of entitlements, rights, entitlements absent duties. So you have the right to vote, no duty to vote, right to own a gun, no duty to own a gun. Right? You have the right to incriminate or not incriminate yourself, but no duty to incriminate yourself or not to incriminate yourself, right? Every one of these rights is an entitlement. There's no duty which comes along with it. So I think that in a time before feminism, let's say, especially the 1900s, that instead of women and men in this case moving towards a materialistic outlook, they focused a lot more on duties instead of entitlements themselves. And I think that has been very bad for society, the focus on materialism from feminism.
Okay, maybe just to get more clear on that term duty, being an obligation absent entitlement. What you're saying is that, somebody should act or needs to act, right, without being given anything to act?
No, they could be given orders to act. That could be considered a duty.
Not what I'm saying.
No.
Okay, maybe there was some miscommunication there, but something that, you should do whether or not you're rewarded for it or something like that. Is that something like what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So
some obligation to do, some obligation absent entitlement to perform X action.
Okay.
Now, that's not a perfect definition, but I think it's a workable one for the purpose of the conversation.
Okay, so you think that, women don't have any duties, but they do have...
But I think men do. I think men have duties.
Can we get clear on if you're making a descriptive claim or if you're making some sort of prescriptive claim?
Descriptive.
Descriptive? Okay, so you think that men have duties and women don't?
Yes.
And that you think that women have rights and men don't have rights, or they do?
I think that women have more rights than men do. So this would come down to my argument for conscription. It's very simple. Men have a duty and obligation to sign up for the draft. Women have no such obligation or duty to do so, but women can still vote to send men to wars and then not fight in them because they can't be drafted. So I would consider that to be an extra right that women have that men do not have, because they are they actually have to sign up and be conscripted during wartime.
Okay, sure.
And absent wartime.
Okay, so this is argument feminism bad because men have to go to the draft and women don't, and they both get the right to vote?
No, this is an argument for materialism.